The job posting was vague. Night security, temporary, hazard pay included. There was no company name, just a phone number and the words, Carnival grounds, private property. Do not wander. I thought it was a prank or maybe a trap, but curiosity wins more than common sense ever will. The carnival was real, hidden past a cracked road and a rusted gate swallowed by vines. Beyond it, old rides leaned like drunks, tents sagged like dying lungs, and the wind carried laughter that didn't belong. I parked, killed the engine. Something about this place felt unfinished, like it was waiting. Inside the main tent was a folding chair, a desk lamp, and a thick folder with my name written on the front. Beneath it, a list, typed, numbered, rules for night security. Failure to comply may result in permanent consequences. Rule 1. Lock the front gate at exactly 10 p.m. Not before, not after. There is a man who arrives at 10:01 p.m. He will ask if he may enter. He wears a red top hat and carries no shadow. Do not let him in, no matter what he offers. Rule 2. The carousel lights may flicker between 11 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. Do not look directly at the horses. They will appear frozen. They are not. Rule 3. If you hear children laughing after midnight, cover your ears immediately and face the ground. Whatever is laughing is not a child, and it will stop if you do not look. Rule 4. From 12:30 to 12:45 a.m., the clown tent will open on its own. Do not approach. No matter how many voices you hear calling you inside, if you've already approached, run. Don't look back, don't speak. Rule 5. If you see the Ferris wheel moving between 2 o'clock and 3 a.m., ignore it. It's been broken for 12 years. If you wave at the top car, it will wave back. Rule 6. At exactly 3:15 a.m., you may feel a warm breeze pass through the cold air. Do not acknowledge it, do not react, it's her. She likes to see who's afraid of her warmth. Rule 7. If you find a balloon tied to your wrist, cut it off immediately, do not pop it. Do not let it float away. Put it in the furnace at the back of the staff trailer and lock the door. Do not return until sunrise. I read the rules twice. They didn't feel like warnings, they felt like confessions. Someone had survived long enough to write these. The folder also had a map, hand-drawn, with one area scribbled out in black ink. Above it, someone wrote, "Do not patrol this zone ever." The night began quiet. I did as the rules said, locked the gate at 10 sharp. At 10:01, a knock, soft, rhythmic. I peeked through the cracks. A tall man in a red top hat smiled, motionless, his mouth moved. But I heard no words, only static. Like an old television, I stepped back. He didn't move. Then, without warning, he vanished, no footsteps, no sound, just gone. I stayed near the gate for another 10 minutes. It felt wrong to leave too soon, like I might offend something watching. By 11:10, I was doing rounds. The rides creaked in the wind, though the air was still. I passed the carousel. Lights flickered. A chill ran down my spine. The horses stood frozen, too lifelike, eyes gleaming in the dark. I turned away like the rule said, but I felt them watching. Not just one, all of them, as if they'd rotated ever so slightly while I wasn't looking. I walked faster, didn't run. The folder warned, never run inside the grounds. Midnight, laughter, sharp and distant, not playful, shrill, distorted. I dropped to my knees, hands over my ears, face to the ground. The laughter passed over me like a wave of heat, felt old, like something pretending to remember what it was like to be a child. Silence returned, but the silence here had weight, like the kind before a thunderstorm, or just before you realize you're not alone. I moved toward the security trailer, hoping to find more light, but the main floodlights were dead. I stepped inside the trailer. Everything was covered in dust. Cobwebs reached from corner to corner, yet the furnace in the back, it was warm. A faint orange glow pulsed behind its door, like it had recently been used. I sat at the desk, tried to breathe. Then something tugged gently at my wrist. I looked down. A balloon, red, tied perfectly. It hadn't been there 5 seconds ago. I froze. Careful. Don't pop it. Don't let it float. The rules were clear. I found a pair of rusted scissors in the drawer, snipped the string, held the balloon steady in shaking hands, walked it slowly to the furnace. It whimpered. I swear it whimpered. I opened the furnace. It hissed softly like it recognized the balloon. The moment I placed it inside, a sound echoed from deep within. Not fire, not wind. A voice. Faint. Not again. Then silence. I locked the door, heart pounding. Back outside, the clown tent stood wide open. Voices beckoned, calling my name. My actual name, whispered in familiar tones. My father's voice. A friend I lost. Even my own. I gritted my teeth and walked the other way. It's terrifying how familiar voices become weapons. The tent flaps rustled as though something large had shifted inside. But I didn't look. I kept walking, eyes forward, hands clenched. Some rules are written. Some are survival instincts. Around 2:15 a.m., I passed the Ferris wheel. It was turning slow, groaning like it hadn't moved in years. I remembered the rule, ignore it, but I felt it watching. The top car was facing me, empty, or so I thought. A shape sat hunched in the top car. It waved. Slowly. Then again. Jerky, like it didn't understand human movement. I didn't wave back. Didn't breathe. Eventually it stopped. Vanished as the wheel groaned to a halt. I returned to the trailer for water. The inside smelled like rust and something older. The mirror above the sink was fogged, though no one had used it. When I wiped it clean, the reflection wasn't mine. It stared back anyway. I stepped away, shutting off the lights. Some things are best left unseen. My shift was half over, but I felt like I'd been here years. Time didn't flow normally in the carnival. It folded in on itself. Near 3 a.m., I checked the map. My route curved dangerously close to the blacked-out zone. The area was quiet, temptingly quiet. I stood at its edge, flashlight flickering. A sign lay buried in weeds. Funhouse. The funhouse roof had caved in, its mirrors cracked. Its colors faded. Yet I swear I heard music playing inside, that tinny, haunting carnival tune. I turned back, but something in the mirror shifted. Not my reflection. Something waiting behind it. Suddenly the air grew warm, sickly sweet. A breeze rolled through the stillness, brushing against my skin like fingers. I remembered the rule, do not acknowledge her. I clenched my jaw and stood still. Her breath was warm against my ear, then it passed. After she passed, I noticed something on the ground. A footprint, bare, small, but burned into the concrete as if pressed by something molten. It led toward the house of mirrors. I wasn't supposed to go there. No one was, but I followed. The door was ajar. Inside, the mirrors were endless, reflections warping into grotesque parodies. My flashlight died, but one mirror glowed faintly. It wasn't reflecting me. It showed the trailer right now. In the reflection, someone sat at the desk, wearing my jacket, reading the rulebook. But their face was wrong, smiling too wide. Eyes hollow, they looked up and waved. The same awkward wave from the Ferris wheel. I backed away. Each mirror I passed whispered something different. Stay. Join us. No more shifts. One just said, turn around. I didn't. I closed my eyes, walked backward out the door. Didn't look back once. Outside, the air had changed. Heavier. Sticky like syrup. The moon above the carnival looked wrong. It flickered, like a spotlight. The stars blinked out one by one, as if something massive were crawling across the sky. A deep groan echoed through the ground. Not mechanical, alive. Like the land itself was shifting. The rides creaked louder. Tents swayed. And the gate, it was open, even though I know I locked it. But now it stood wide, inviting the night in. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Something was walking in. Not from the outside, from the graves behind the carnival. Yes, there was a graveyard. Not on any map. Unmarked. Just mounds and crooked sticks. One by one, shadows rose. Some still wore uniforms, faded overalls, old carnival vests. Their faces were soft, melted, like wax. Yet all of them turned their heads in unison, toward me, waiting for something. And then one of them dropped something. A small object. It rolled slowly toward my feet. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The object stopped inches from my boot. A silver coin. Worn smooth. Faceless. I bent down. Touched it. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Not cold. Not hot. Just alive. Suddenly the shadows bowed. Not to me, to the coin. And then vanished. As if they were never there. Back at the trailer, I placed the coin on the desk. It spun by itself. No breeze. No tilt. Just spun and spun like it was trying to decide something. Then it stopped, pointed toward the clown tent. Again. I wasn't supposed to go back there. No second visits. But the coin had chosen. And the rule book, now open to a page I'd never seen, simply said, "If chosen, you return." So I returned. The tent smelled like candy and blood. The colors had faded further. Now everything was gray. Grinning clown faces lined the canvas walls. Their smiles twitched as I passed. Some wept red. At the center of the tent was a single chair. On it sat a clown, limp, deflated, but breathing. It looked at me with hollow eyes, then reached into its chest and pulled out another coin. It tossed the coin to me. I caught it, identical to the first. Except this one whispered, a faint voice in my ear. One word, stay. I pocketed it without speaking. As I turned to leave, I realized the tent was gone. I stood in the middle of the carnival grounds. No sign of canvas or chairs, just open air and silence. Except the Ferris wheel. It was turning again. This time, all the seats were full. Figures. Still. Each turned to face me in perfect synchronization. Mouths moved, but no sound came. I stepped back, and their arms rose, pointing toward the funhouse. I ran. The mirrors greeted me once more. This time, no reflection at all. Just black glass, like windows into a world without light. My breath fogged one. Words appeared in the mist. Welcome back. Behind me, the entrance sealed shut. The funhouse was no longer broken. The music played clear. Laughter echoed in long, looping tape. And in the center, a mirror stood alone. Inside it, the trailer, burning. I reached for the mirror. It rippled under my fingers. Then it pulled me through. I stumbled out, coughing on smoke, inside the trailer. Only not mine. Photos lined the walls. Of guards. Every single one looked like me. Each photo had a date beneath it. Same uniform. Same badge. Same face, mine. But the dates stretched back decades. The earliest was 1957. Same hair. Same eyes. I hadn't even been born yet. Then I noticed the writing on the back of one photo. Scribbled in red ink, "He keeps coming back." We all do. The walls began to hum. The same carnival tune, slow and twisted, seeped from the vents. I opened the drawer where the original rulebook sat. Gone. Replaced with a single torn page. Burned edges. It read, "Rules evolve." Then the desk drawer slammed shut on its own. I rushed outside. The carnival was alive. Lights blinked in rhythmic patterns, but none lit the path. Everything flickered like bad footage. The rides moved, though no wind blew. And behind me, footsteps. I turned. No one. But the coin in my pocket grew hot. I pulled it out. Now it bore an image. My face. Mouth sewn shut. Eyes closed. A date engraved beneath it, tomorrow's. The Ferris wheel slowed. Each seat now empty. One opened with a hiss, as if exhaling breath. I felt drawn to it. The air thickened, the world dimmed. A voice whispered from inside. "Witness," I sat. The wheel turned, creaking skyward. From the top, the carnival below warped, like it was breathing. Tents expanded and collapsed. Shadows danced where there were none. And at the center, a black hole pulsed. The seat locked in place. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. The coin hovered in front of me, spinning fast. Reality twisted around it. A vortex of faces, places, echoes of screams, all of them me. Then silence, the coin dropped into my lap. The Ferris wheel reversed. Slowly. Too slowly. When I reached the bottom, the carnival was gone. Empty dirt. Dead grass. Not even tire tracks remained. But the trailer was still there, exactly where I left it. Lights on. Door open. Inside, a new rulebook sat waiting. And on the cover, a clown's face, hand-drawn with stitched eyes. Below it, new shift begins now. The pages inside were blank until I blinked. Then writing appeared, in my own handwriting. Rule 1. Never sit in the Ferris wheel twice. Rule 2. Do not speak to yourself. Rule 3. When the calliope plays, you hide. A low melody began to hum outside. Metallic pipes and wheezing chords. The calliope. It wasn't music. It was a warning. Something was waking up. I dove under the trailer desk. The lights dimmed. The floorboards throbbed like veins. Outside, the tune twisted into screeches. Then silence. Footsteps. But not footsteps. But hooves, whatever it was, stopped outside. The trailer door creaked open. No wind. Just breathing. Heavy, wet breathing. It stepped inside, 1 step. 2. And then it left. When I looked again, something was on the chair. Another coin. This one cracked down the center. It pulsed. Faintly. I didn't touch it. Didn't dare. I stayed awake until the sun rose. The carnival was gone. Erased. But in its place, a massive imprint in the earth, like something enormous had crouched there all night. Waiting. I walked the grounds. There was a mirror embedded in the dirt. A fragment from the funhouse, inside it, my trailer. But no me. Just the clown. Rocking. Smiling. Holding my coin. I backed away, my radio crackled, static. Then a voice I didn't recognize. Shift ends when the watcher is chosen. I screamed into the mic. Who's the watcher? Silence. I looked at the cracked coin again. Now it had words etched into it. You are. The earth trembled beneath my feet. The carnival, what was left of it, began to rise from the ground. A rebirth, rides reassembled. Lights flickered back on. The music returned, cheerful, but wrong. The Ferris wheel spun backward. The clown tent rose from ash. The gates opened and I was inside. Locked in. I tried the gate, locked. Chains wrapped around the bars. But no lock. The metal was fused together, melted shut. From behind me, I heard something move. The carousel had started spinning alone. On it sat one figure. Not a clown. Not a person. A doll, life-size, stitched, missing a face. Its hands gripped a sign. Ride with me. On it sat one figure. Not a clown. Not a person. A doll, life-size, stitched, missing a face. Its hands gripped a sign. Ride with me. The moment I stepped onto the platform, the music stopped. The doll turned its head. Jerkily. Like something inside it fought control. Its fingers twitched. Then pointed at me. The ride roared to life, too fast. Lights blurred. The doll leaned closer, thread unraveling at its neck. From its chest fell something metal, the original rulebook. It flipped open midair. Pages turned violently. A page marked in red. If you are still here by the third sunrise, you belong to the park. I had been here too. The ride stopped abruptly. I stumbled off. The doll slumped over. From the base of the carousel, smoke rose. The ground burned with symbols. Old. Circular. Runes. I fled to the clown tent. I didn't care anymore. I just needed answers. Inside, everything was reversed. Walls twisted inward. The floor above me. Gravity uncertain. A hallway of mirrors stretched ahead. Each reflection was older. Tired. Broken. One held its hand out. Mouth stitched shut. And in its palm my coin. I reached for it. The mirror shattered. 1,000 shards caught fire. The clown emerged from the flames. Eyes bleeding ink. Grinning. It didn't walk, it glided toward me. It opened its mouth. No tongue. Only more coins spilling out. They clinked onto the floor, spinning in place. Then, one by one, they turned. All bearing my face. All whispering, "Stay." The whispering stopped. The coins melted into the floor like wax. Only one remained. The cracked one. Its edge glowed faint blue. And I finally picked it up. The air went still. Too still. The tent dissolved around me. No tearing, just fading, like it never existed. I stood in the middle of the park again. Only now the rides weren't broken. They were new and waiting. Voices echoed across the park, laughing, children, carnival workers. A memory or a replay? I followed the sound, toward the games alley, where the booths had changed. Instead of prizes, each booth displayed photos. Old, yellowed snapshots. Security guards. Dozens of them. Same uniform. Different decades. All smiling. None of them were me. I backed away and nearly tripped over a black suitcase. The same one from the first night. Unzipped, inside a mirror. And behind my reflection, someone else. I turned fast. No one, but a faint imprint remained on the dirt, like something should be standing there. A voice crept into my ear. You're doing well. One night left. I didn't recognize it. Suddenly, the midway lights cut off, one by one. In the dark, I saw something large shifting between rides. Not walking, slithering, covered in skin-colored cloth. No face that I ran. The Ferris wheel spun again. The doll was gone. But my rule book lay on the first car, open to a final rule. If the watcher accepts, you can leave. I didn't understand. Who was the watcher? Was it the clown? The voice? Me? Everything started to blur. Time folded. Rides melted. The sky cracked like glass. I heard a whisper inside my mind. Choose. Then silence. A wooden door stood in front of me. Plain. Old. But familiar. The same door from the old ticket booth. Something was breathing behind it, waiting for me to knock. I knocked once. Nothing. Twice. A deep groan echoed from within. On the third knock, the door opened on its own. Inside was pitch black, except for a single, rusted chair. Facing me, on the chair sat someone wearing my uniform, face down, breathing in its lap. The same cracked coin, spinning slowly without being touched. Then the figure looked up. It was me, but older, worn, eyes hollow, mouth sewn shut with silver wire. He pointed behind me. I turned. The clown. But this time it wasn't smiling. It stepped forward and pulled a key from its chest, held it out. A choice. Behind me, my mirror self. Ahead, the clown's key. The rules said nothing now. Only the coin whispered. I picked up the coin. It stopped spinning, began to glow, and then the rules reappeared, burnt into the walls. If the coin returns to its source, the cycle resets. If it's kept, you take its place. I asked out loud, "What's the source?" No reply. Only the mirror version of me, smiling. First smile I'd seen on him. Then he disintegrated, like ash in the wind. I dropped the coin. It rolled toward the clown, stopped at its feet. The clown looked down, then vanished. So did the door. The park faded back to decay. Rides rotted in seconds. I woke up in the guard shack, morning sun piercing through dirty glass. My radio buzzed a voice. Good job. Ready for shift 2. Then static and laughter. I turned to the desk. A note had been left, written in ink that shimmered like oil. The rules will change. Do not trust the coin. And taped next to it, a photo of me, smiling, dead-eyed. Before I left the shack, I checked my pocket. The coin was back, but now it had a new symbol carved into it. A tiny clown face, grinning. No eyes, only teeth. And beneath it, in that same ink, shift 2 begins tonight.